Hi, Felix. This week I have new glasses, a new glass frame, but I hope you can still tell it's me. William says hi, too. This week, the story is the story of the educated ant. There was once an ant who lived with all the other ants, because, of course, all the ants lived together. That's Walter. I have to make his 2 cents. And this ant decided that he wanted to be educated. So at the end of the workday, because ants have a workday just like everybody else, and when they get done, they can take time to watch ant TV or eat ant snacks or just do ant jogging around a little ant block. They could do any of those things. But he decided what he wanted to do was he wanted to learn to read. So he went up into the human world and started looking for books that humans had left open. And when he found them, he would start to crawl around the letters and kind of trace the letters out until he traced out an entire word. Now, when he first started, he couldn't read very much and he couldn't read very fast. He could only do like 2 or 3 words a night. And it took him a long time to find out what the letters meant and what the words were. But eventually, after months of this, he got pretty good at it. He could do half a sentence, a whole sentence in one night. Now, this added up to a lot of strange stuff because he had a different book every night that he found. He had maybe a cookbook or a storybook or a science book or a book about dogs or a book about elephants. So at first, all of the sentences that he read didn't fit together very well. But he kept reading and he kept reading and he felt like he was learning things. And then finally one day he went up and he discovered a library. And in the library he found a place where they left books like encyclopedias and dictionaries sitting open. And that was like a bonanza of words. So he started learning lots of things then. Now, the funny thing was that the ants of his own generation weren't very interested in this. He went back and he tried to tell them, there's words and there's books and there's things you can read up there. But the other ants were not very interested. The people who got interested in it were his friends' kids, not the ants he grew up with, but the ants that were the kids of the ants he had grown up with. And they were interested in this. So these younger ants started asking if they could tag along. And at first it was just a couple. And eventually it was several dozen going up with him every night to take a look in the world and read stuff. And when they teamed up, they could read different parts of the same page. And then they'd huddle up together at the end and they'd read through the stuff they'd done in order. And they'd get whole pages at a time. And they started a really big movement. Where all of these ants started to get educated and started to learn things about the world and about how humans lived. And then finally the big moment came when one of the younger ants said, well, we could make words. We traced out all these letters and all these words. We could make words. And so they practiced and they practiced. And one night they went up into the human world and went on to the librarian's table at the library, and they got up on her blotter, and just as she was getting ready to swat them with a newspaper, they organized themselves into the word hello. This struck her as very strange and unusual. And that was how the educated ants were first discovered by the human world, which is a whole other story that we'll get to some other time. But that's the story of the educated ant. I will see you next time. Love you.